Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled Making a New Bracha When One Changes Places in the Middle of the Meal. So, in the first year, we discussed some of the basics. Here's an overview, conclusion of the sugya. Person's drinking, have a cup of water, they go outside to meet someone downstairs in the parking lot, they come back. For sure, one needs to make a new bracha. What's the criteria for changing places? So the basics are the following. According to Ashkenazi tradition, if one is eating a food where there's a kaviut, a certain permanence to there, so he's pulled back to that place, so even when he leaves, it doesn't break the kaviut. That's a few different ways that can happen. One, if there's a group of people there, even one person you're eating with, and that person is still eating there, so you didn't leave the meal totally. When you come back, you don't need a new bracha on whatever you're eating or drinking. If the food is a certain kind of kaviut, permanent food, you don't need to make a bracha. So if you're having a motzi meal. When you come back, you're sort of locked into that place because you have to make bracha achrona in that place, so you haven't left that place fully. You don't need to make a new hamotzi, even if you went outside to the parking lot. If you had mizono, many poskim say you don't need to make a new bracha when you come back, a new mizono, because also you're locked in. The shivat minim, the 7 fruits of Israel, that already there's different opinions, best to avoid. If you have grapes and you go out to the parking lot and then you come back, it's a suffix what to do. And it's not simple. Best to try to avoid that. If you did go down, you came back up, you would just say suffix brachot lahakel. Don't make a new bar pri ha'etz. Those are 2 ways where you're sort of locked into that place. Another way is that you don't really have a shinoi makom. What does that mean? In the same house, from room to room. Ideally, believe it or not, when you move from room to room, it's best to have in mind, I'm going to be moving along the whole house. I'm in the kitchen, I'll start in the kitchen, I might move to the dining room, to the other room, I'll walk around while I eat or drink, and that's the best idea. Just have in mind, when you make the bracha, have in mind the meaning of the bracha, have in mind what foods are going to be covered, and have in mind even I'll be moving around the house, you avoid any shinoi makom issue. If you go outside of the house, so the porch is a machlokas. If the porch is covered, everyone agrees, it's fine. It's another room in the house. If it's not covered, there are different opinions. Many are lenient and say, listen, the porch is part of my house, and it's fine. I go to my yard, different opinions. If it's totally walled in, the porch is totally walled in, the yard is totally walled in, then that's also enclosed area. That's considered an extension of my house, especially if that's something I do. I go from the house to out of the house, and especially if I had in mind, there's a lot more room to be lenient in such a case. So basically, to summarize the sugya, you have the following. If it's a food, which is a permanent type of food, or you have a setting, people are there at the table, even one person at the table, that locks you in. And even when you leave, and if you're just drinking, drink, come back, you don't need a new bracha. Or if it's not defined as a real shinoi makom, it's in the house itself, you had a mind to move around, that's the ideal. Or you go to the porch, many say that's also a part. And if you go to the yard, going to the hallway is a suffix, the hallway, the stairwell, what is that considered? Best to avoid that case because it's not clear, it's in the same building, but it's not really mine. Yeah, but it is mine. So everyone agrees, I go to another apartment in the building, that's really not mine. And that would be a break. But the hallway, I have a chelik, I have a part of it. It's a shayla, best to avoid going to the hallway in the middle of the meal because it just brings up a suffix bracha. Shalom.